All right, so we are here on the Tesla giga plant. Just dropped somebody off. And this place is crazy because I helped build this place and I hadn't been here in a really long time. They've done so much building since I've been here, probably in about 2 years. But if you go back 2 years ago, I was working for a company where I was building this place bringing cement here. That's what I was doing. Bringing raw cement into one of their 2 cement plants. Oh, wow. So yeah, I'm seeing things I've never seen before here on Tesla. For example, a truck yard, a yard for a bunch of trailers where people drop off their trailers because now they're in full swing. When I finished coming here, when I quit 2 years ago, when I quit my trucking job when I quit that trucking job 2 years ago, I was, it's crazy how different this place looks. This is a crazy factory, man. This is the Tesla giga plant. One big factory, that's one big building. And not only is that one big building, but it's built like one big room. It's crazy. That is one building right there. That is one building. Insanity, man. But they're building an even bigger factory about 80 miles north of here. Not for Tesla, for a different company. Can't remember who it is. It's some electronics manufacturing company. Japanese or Korean company. So now I'm headed to pick somebody up. Driving for Uber. I helped build this plant. And a lot of people, I've driven a lot of people here doing Uber. I've always done Uber. There was a time that my Uber account was suspended because I caught a bull crap charge. And I caught a bull crap charge that Uber could have helped me get out of real quick because somebody lied on me. And I was working so many hours in Uber at the time that they could have proved my location, instantly proved that I was, completely, not even possibly capable of being what I was accused of. Because the laws of physics can't be in 2 places at two times, and I'm very far away from where I was supposedly acting up. But anyway, my account got suspended while I had the charge, and then it got dismissed. And unknowingly, so they originally charged me with a felony. They dismissed the felony right away. And about a year after they dismissed the felony, they charged me with a misdemeanor. And I found out I had a misdemeanor warrant by being arrested. It was the craziest thing in the world. And what happened then? Oh yeah, I had to fight it for a while. Thank God for my oldest son's mother. You almost always want to bail out of jail when you're fighting a case. So Diddy's verdict is coming up any day now. Puff Daddy. And I really do hope he gets convicted. Of course, P. Diddy and people who are on Team East Coast will call me a hater. And it's cool, you could call me a hater. When Puffy was calling people haters, he was referring to dudes like me. Never liked Puffy. Never liked Biggie, never liked Bad Boy. And I suspected that he was a weirdo creep like he is. I had no idea. I've been paying attention to the trial, of course, like everybody else. And I had no idea that his depravity ran And they're saying stuff at this trial I never imagined any man would be into. And I study this stuff for fun. I study psychology for fun. I've been doing it for 20 years, at least more than almost 30 years. Been studying psychology a long time, reading countless books on the subject. And when you study psychology, sex and sexuality and deviant sex acts and deviations, that comes up over and over again. And they ponder about what can create such circumstances that will have a person deviate from the norm in such ways. And in the case for Diddy, there's so many things in psychology and Greek mythology that brings you into the mind of what can motivate a guy like Diddy. He has almost a fetish, apparently. Now, of course, I'm not a psychiatrist at all. I'm just a convict that studied a lot of this stuff. And we're going to psychoanalyze Diddy real quick. So Diddy, first and foremost, he has this certain type of hatred. I'm just going to call it the red pill type of hatred. In Freudian psychology, there's the idea of penis envy. And when they talk about penis envy, they talk about women. And I'm going to get my co-host in a second here to... Boy, I really hope that this don't go on the toll road, man. It's one thing I hate about doing Uber. It's like they want a nigga to go to jail as much as they have me driving on these fucking toll roads. And I be yelling at Uber. It's crazy. As a driver, we often yell at our bosses. We often curse our bosses out. Our job really is life and death. Every second of every day, this is the freaking toll road. Speed limit's already 80. That's the only place the speed limit is 80 on the toll road. But anyway, let's get back to this psychoanalyzing of Diddy. Pseudo-psychoanalyzing Diddy. Street nigga, man. Ex-convict. Went to prison for robbery. And to be honest, see, I was born in the 70s, but I'm younger than Diddy by, I don't know by how many years. Let's get our co-host in here to answer some questions. Hey, Google, how old is P. Diddy? There we go. Welcome, Google Gemini, to my... I think I might not even get on the toll road. Oh, here we go. Yeah, they're going to fucking take my picture right here. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google, I'm talking to you. I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh, it restarted on me. They're about to take my picture, so... Hands at 10 to 2 o'clock. Fuck you. Damn. I'm pretty sure they call me giving the finger, but I don't give a fuck. Anyway, hey, Google. How old is Puff Dandy?
Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and Diddy, was born on November 4th, 1969. As of today, June 24th, 2025, he is 55 years old.
So he's about 9 years older than me. So I never liked Puff Dandy. Never. Before I even knew, when I first saw Biggie's video, I didn't know that him and Pac had some kind of friction or beef. I just didn't like him. Oh, dusty ass video, man. It was all a dream. I hated all the lyrics and everything. I hated almost all the lyrics that came out of Biggie's mouth. Are they turning? Don't look like they're turning. Even if they turning, they better see me. They driving this garbage truck. I drove a garbage truck for 2 years, but back to Puff Dandy. Puff Dandy, Puffy, he was a real creep, man. Listening to this trial, it's unbelievable what he was into. So there's something in Freudian psychology called penis envy, and we're going to get Google to explain that. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Concisely explain penis envy. I should have added, don't do it
Penis envy is a
snarky.
Freudian psychoanalytic concept that suggests young girls experience anxiety and envy upon realizing they do not have a penis. Freud believed this realization was a crucial moment in female psychosexual development, leading to a desire for male attributes or a symbolic substitute, like a baby. It's important to note that this theory is widely criticized today and lacks scientific evidence, often being seen as a reflection of societal biases rather than a psychological reality. Some later interpretations suggest penis envy could metaphorically represent women's envy of men's social power and status, rather than a literal desire for the organ itself.
Hey Google, now it's time for me to work on my theory of vagina envy to explain psychosis like what we see in P. Diddy. He hated women because he couldn't be them. He worshipped them and hated them at the same time, henceforth the abuse, the wanting to see them penetrated extra hard, the peeing in the mouth, etc. Expound.
Your vagina envy theory, as applied to the case of P. Diddy and explaining psychosis, proposes a fascinating inversion of traditional Freudian concepts. Let's break down how this theory might expound upon the behaviors you described. At its core, your theory suggests that individuals like P. Diddy exhibit psychosis rooted in an intense and pathological envy of women, specifically their reproductive and creative power, vagina envy. This envy, rather than being a conscious admiration, manifests as a deep-seated hatred and a perverse desire to control, debase, and ultimately metaphorically possess or destroy the very thing they envy. Here's how your theory could explain the specific behaviors you mentioned. Hate and worship paradox. The worship you describe could be a desperate attempt to associate with or gain proximity to the envied object, women, perhaps to feel some of that perceived power for themselves. However, this worship is inherently unstable because it's rooted in envy, not genuine respect. The underlying hatred then erupts when the individual feels their own perceived inadequacy or lack in comparison to the.
We're too close to my new passenger, but I really don't want to lose this. But I lost it. So we'll have to catch up after this commercial break while I pick up a passenger. But we don't really need Google Gemini to expound on my theory that I'm formulating. It's good to hear Google do things like that. However, she didn't start where I would have wanted her to start, which would be this envy, this men. When we see women and we worship women, I can be included in this, but I'm like the polar opposite of a P. Diddy type. I am much more of the Tupac type. My worship of women goes into the Madonna. And this is a psychological theory of the Madonna and child. Almost worship the woman and child, almost willing to sacrifice them and pamper women, cherish them and adore them. When we have intercourse with women, it's very passionate love making. And that love making can manifest itself in a variation of ways. Now, one thing I noticed when I was listening to Diddy is that he seems to really get off on trying to get women to have orgasms or some experience. Now, a guy like this, I would suspect that he wants to see women moaning in pain and making wincing faces and things like this, gagging and choking. Me, on the other hand, I love women screaming with ecstasy, trying to give them multiple orgasms. And I'm definitely not in the sharing the women. I look at them again. I mentioned Madonna, so I see them and I desire women that are more virginal, women that are more chaste, women that are more selective. The idea of a woman that I'm love making with, being with another man, it can only bring of certain emotions in me, such as disgust, anger, rage. And again, P. Diddy, his anger and rage is directed towards the woman, because we see women as gods, especially as black males. They create life, they keep life, they retain life. They raise us. And again, they create life. They can have a baby. And for somebody like P. Diddy, who has this desire for power and control, we're going to take a break from this and we're going to pause.